My name is Daniel Cole. I am 34 years old, and for 8 years I have been married to a woman the whole city respects. Commander Vanessa Cole. People see her uniform and they stand a little straighter. I see her empty side of the bed more nights than I see her face. I work in logistics. Nothing exciting. I move boxes on paper before they move on trucks. Nobody claps when I do my job right. But I never needed applause. I just wanted a family that felt whole. That evening I was in the kitchen making dinner for Sophie, our daughter. She is 9, and she has her mother's sharp eyes and my quiet mouth. "Dad, is Mom coming home for dinner?" she asked. "I do not know, sweetheart," I said. "Maybe. Let's not wait for her this time." She nodded like she already understood something a 9-year-old should not have to understand. We used to do family dinners every night, I told her, trying to sound cheerful. Now it is more like family dinners when Mom is not stopping crime. Sophie laughed a little, but it was a tired laugh. Even she was getting used to the empty chair. Around 8, my phone buzzed. It was Grace, my older sister. "How is married life treating my baby brother?" she asked, half joking, half not. "Same as always," I said. "Vanessa is working late again." Grace went quiet for a second. "Daniel," she said, "when was the last time you two actually talked? Not about Sophie. Not about bills. Just talked." I could not answer right away. "That is what I thought," she said. "Be careful. I'm not saying anything is wrong. I am just saying careers change people if you are not watching." I told her Vanessa was under pressure, that a big promotion review was coming, that her deputy Marcus Reyes had her running on no sleep for weeks. Grace was not convinced, but she let it go. After I put Sophie to bed, I sat alone in the living room. I thought about the woman I married. Back then, Vanessa used to call me during her lunch break just to hear my voice. Now her calls came late, short, distracted, mostly about logistics of a different kind. "Pick up Sophie. Sign this form. I will be late." I told myself it was normal. Every marriage goes through seasons. I told myself she still loved me. She was just tired, just busy, just carrying more weight than most people carry in a lifetime. Around 11, I heard her key in the door. "Hey," I said, standing up. "I saved you a plate." She barely looked at me. "Not hungry," she said, dropping her bag on the couch. "Long day?" I asked. "You have no idea," she said, rubbing her eyes. I wanted to close the distance between us, so I tried to joke. "Well, at least you get to boss people around all day. I only get to argue with a delivery truck driver." She did not laugh. Her phone buzzed in her hand, and her whole body changed. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes moved fast across the screen. "Who is that?" I asked, keeping my voice light. "Nobody," she said too quickly. "Work. At 11 at night," I said. "Daniel, please," she said, "not tonight." "Vanessa," I said, "I am not trying to fight. I just want to understand what is happening to us." "Nothing is happening," she said. "I am tired. I have Marcus breathing down my neck about the review. I have half the department watching every move I make, and I come home, and even you want something from me." I did not want anything from her except her, but I did not say that. I just watched her walk past me toward the bedroom, phone still in her hand, screen still glowing with a message she would not show me. I stood there in the kitchen, the plate I made for her going cold on the counter. Something was different that night. I could not name it yet, but for the first time in 8 years, I felt like a stranger in my own home. I walked into the office the next morning, and something felt wrong before I even reached my desk. People who usually said, "Good morning," just looked at their screens. Priya from accounting saw me and quickly turned the other way. I told myself I was imagining it. Then my phone rang. It was Harold Minsa, my boss. "Daniel, come to my office," he said. "Now, please." His tone was not friendly. I walked in and closed the door behind me. "Sit down," Harold said. "What is going on?" I asked. "Everyone is acting strange today." He slid a paper across the desk. "I have a formal complaint here," he said. "It says you misused company funds on the Bristol shipment last month. It also says a coworker reported you for harassment." I stared at him. "That is not true," I said. "None of that happened. You know me, Harold. 5 years, not one warning, not one complaint." "I want to believe you," he said. "But this complaint is detailed. It has dates. It has a name." "Whose name?" I asked. He hesitated. "It came through an internal report from the police department," he said. "Someone from Commander Cole's office flagged concerns about you to our HR team as a courtesy warning." My chest went tight. "From Vanessa's office?" I asked. "Not from her directly," he said. "From her deputy, Marcus Reyes." I felt the floor tilt under me. "Marcus does not even know me," I said. "Why would he report anything about my job to my job?" "I do not know," Harold said. "But until this clears up, I have to suspend you. Paid leave for now." "I am sorry, Daniel." I left his office feeling like a stranger was wearing my life. I drove home replaying every conversation I ever had with Marcus Reyes, which were maybe 5 sentences total at police family events. That night, I waited for Vanessa at the kitchen table. She walked in around 9, and I did not even let her sit down. "I got suspended today," I said. "Harold said someone from your department reported me for stealing and harassment." Marcus's name came up. She set her bag down slowly. "I heard something happened," she said. "I did not know it went that far." "You knew," I said. "You knew, and you did not call me?" "It is complicated, Daniel," she said. "Marcus mentioned some concerns. I told him it was not my place to interfere in your job." "Not your place," I said. "Vanessa, this is my career. My name. People are looking at me like I am a criminal." "I know it is frustrating," she said, "but my promotion review is in 3 weeks. If I start making noise about my husband's workplace drama, it makes me look like I cannot separate personal from professional. Just let it blow over." "Let it blow over," I repeated. "Vanessa, I could lose my job." "You will not," she said. "Harold likes you. Give it 2 weeks. This will die down, and I cannot afford distractions right now." I stood there staring at her, waiting for her to say something that sounded like she was on my side. It never came. "Fine," I said quietly. "I will handle it myself." She nodded like that solved everything and walked toward the bedroom. I stayed in the kitchen a long time, staring at that complaint form in my mind, and for the first time, I wondered if my wife had already chosen a side, and it was not mine. Suspension does something strange to a person. I woke up the next morning with nowhere to be, and it felt like the floor had disappeared under my feet. I used to complain about my alarm clock. Now I missed it. I took Sophie to the bus stop, and Mrs. Patterson from next door was watering her plants. She used to wave at me every single morning for 6 years straight. "Morning," I said. She looked at me, then looked away, and went back inside without a word. I stood there a second, feeling something cold settle in my stomach. News apparently traveled faster than I did. That afternoon, Grace showed up without calling first. She walked straight past me into the kitchen. "Is it true," she asked, "Harold suspended you? Over some complaint that traces back to Vanessa's department?" "Word travels fast," I said. "Daniel, this is serious," she said. "Where's Vanessa? Why has she not said one public word defending her own husband?" "She thinks it will look like favoritism," I said. "Her review is coming up." Grace's face went red. "Her review," she said. "You're being called a thief and a harasser in front of the whole city, and she is worried about optics?" "That is not fair," I started to say, but even as I said it, I did not believe myself. "Is it though?" Grace said. "Daniel, a wife defends her husband. That is not favoritism. That is basic decency." "Where's she right now?" "Working," I said quietly. "Of course she is," Grace said. "Call her. Right now. I want to hear her say to your face why she is letting this happen to you." I called Vanessa on speaker. She picked up sounding rushed. "Daniel, I am in a meeting," she said. "Grace is here," I said. "She wants to know why you have not defended me publicly." There was a pause. "Grace, I understand you are worried about your brother," Vanessa said. "But if I start making statements to the press about my own husband's workplace issue, it makes me look like I am protecting family over doing my job properly. It could hurt the review. So your career matters more than his name being dragged through mud," Grace said, her voice shaking. "That is not what I said," Vanessa snapped. "Daniel, talk to your sister. I have to go." The line went dead. Grace stared at the phone, then at me, like she was waiting for me to be as angry as she was. I just felt hollow. "She will come around," I said, more to convince myself than her. Grace shook her head slowly. "Daniel," she said, "I love you, but you're choosing not to see something right in front of your face." After she left, I sat alone in the house for hours, replaying every excuse Vanessa had given me since this started. Busy, complicated, bad timing. Every excuse had her name in the center and mine pushed to the edge. I picked up her old work phone from the drawer, the one she used before her promotion, thinking I would charge it for Sophie's games. A notification lit up the screen. A voicemail, unheard, from a saved contact. Marcus Reyes. I do not know why I pressed play. Maybe I already knew I needed to hear it. Vanessa, it is me, the voice said, soft, almost tender. I cannot stop thinking about last night. About what you said. I know you're scared about the review, but we need to talk about us, not just about work. The message ended. I sat there in the silence of my own kitchen, staring at a phone that did not belong to the woman I thought I married. I called Tom Whitfield the next morning. We served together years ago, before he left to start his own investigation firm. I had not needed him for anything serious until now. Daniel Cole, he said, picking up. It has been a while. Everything okay? No, I said. I need your help. Can we meet? We sat at a diner an hour later. I told him everything. The suspension. The complaint. Marcus. The voicemail on Vanessa's old phone. Tom listened without interrupting, which was one of the things I always respected about him. So let me get this straight, he said. Your wife's deputy filed a complaint against you at your job, and you just found a voicemail suggesting he is involved with your wife. That is exactly it, I said. He leaned back. Daniel, I want you to hear me clearly. Once you pull this thread, your whole life unravels. Not just Marcus's life. Not just Vanessa's. Yours too. Are you sure you want to go down this road? I thought about Sophie. About the way Mrs. Patterson looked away from me. About Harold's face when he suspended me. I'm already unraveling, Tom, I said. I just want to know the truth. He nodded slowly. All right, he said. Let me tell you what I already know about Marcus Reyes because I did some digging the second you called me. I'm listening, I said. Marcus joined the department 8 years ago, same time you married Vanessa, Tom said. Ambitious guy. Wanted commander rank fast. But he kept getting passed over for promotions because of complaints about his handling of department funds. Small stuff at first, then bigger. What kind of bigger, I asked. There were unexplained gaps in his supply budget last year, Tom said. Almost $30,000. Nobody proved anything. But guess who signed off on most of those transactions? Marcus, I said. Marcus, Tom confirmed. And guess who needed someone else to look guilty before an internal audit closed in on him? My stomach turned. He used me, I said. He used my life as cover. There is more, Tom said. From what I am hearing, Marcus has resented you for years. You have a stable job, the wife everyone respects, the daughter, the quiet life. He has climbed and still feels like an outsider. Jealousy makes people do ugly things, Daniel. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Harold's name on the screen. Harold, I said, answering. Daniel, he said, his voice heavy. I need you to come in. I'm on my way, I said. Tom watched my face. Bad news, he asked. I do not know yet, I said, but I have a feeling. I walked into Harold's office 30 minutes later. He did not ask me to sit this time. Daniel, I have mounting evidence now, he said. Documents, witness statements, timestamps. I fought for you as long as I could. I cannot anymore. Harold, I said, please, I did not do this. I am sorry, he said, sliding a folder across the desk. Effective immediately, your employment here is terminated. I stood there holding a folder full of lies with my name printed on every page. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I understood that this was not a misunderstanding anymore. This was a war, and somebody had already fired the first shot. A week without a job feels longer than a month. I spent my days pretending to look busy so Sophie would not ask questions, but she was smarter than I gave her credit for. Dad, she said one evening, pushing food around her plate, Emma said her mom told her you stole money. Is that true? I set my fork down. No, sweetheart, I said. That is not true. Someone is lying about me. Why would someone lie? She asked. I do not know, I said, but that answer felt weak even to me. Later that night, Vanessa came home late again. I met her in the hallway. Sophie is hearing things at school, I said. Kids are repeating what their parents are saying about me. She asked me if I'm a thief. Vanessa rubbed her temples. I will talk to her, she said. That is not enough, I said. Vanessa, I lost my job. My name is destroyed in this town, and you still have not said one word in my defense. I cannot, she said, her voice sharp. My review is in 9 days. 9 days, Daniel. If I make waves now, everything I have worked for is gone. Everything you have worked for, I repeated. What about everything I have lost? Just stay quiet a little longer, she said. Please. Once the review is done, I promise we will sort this out together. Together, I said, almost laughing. Vanessa, there is no together in this. There is you protecting your title, and there is me drowning by myself. She walked away without answering, and something in me finally cracked. I sat on the edge of my bed that night and felt the weight of every single day since this started land on my chest at once. No job, no name, a daughter asking questions I could not fully answer, a wife choosing silence over me. I thought about just stopping, letting Marcus win, letting Vanessa have her promotion, taking whatever job I could find far from the city, and disappearing quietly. My phone rang. It was a number I had not seen in 3 years. My father. Dad, I said, surprised. Heard you're going through something, he said. Grace called me. Of course she did, I said. There was a long pause. Daniel, he said, I know I do not have the right to give you advice. I left when things got hard for our family. I ran instead of fighting. I have regretted that every day since. I did not say anything. I am not calling to make excuses, he continued. I am calling because I do not want you to make my mistake. I ran because I was scared, and I told myself it was easier for everyone. It was not easier. It just meant I was not there when you needed me. Dad, I'm tired, I said, my voice breaking. I do not know if I have the strength to fight this. You do, he said. I know you do, because you're already fighting just by staying. Do not run, son. Whatever this is, face it. Do not become me. I sat there holding the phone long after he hung up, and for the first time in days, something in my chest steadied. I was not going to disappear. I was not going to let Marcus and Vanessa write the ending to my story. I picked up my phone and called Tom. Tom, I said, I am ready. Let us finish what we started. Tom called me 3 days later, and I could hear it in his voice before he even said a word. Daniel, he said, I think we found our way in. What do you mean, I asked. There's a young officer named Jake Bryant, Tom said. He works under Vanessa. I talked to him off the record. He looked scared the whole time, like he had been carrying something heavy for weeks. What did he say, I asked. He said he saw Marcus altering budget reports last year, Tom said. He also said Marcus has been pressuring Vanessa privately, telling her if the truth comes out about the missing funds, it ends both their careers, not just his. So he knows, I said. Jake actually knows the truth. He knows, Tom said, but he is terrified. If he speaks up officially, he thinks Marcus and Vanessa will destroy his career the same way they destroyed yours. I asked Tom to set up a meeting. Jake agreed, but only somewhere private, somewhere far from the department. We met him at Tom's office 2 days later. Jake looked like he had not slept in a week. I am sorry about what happened to you, Jake said the moment he sat down. I should have said something sooner. Why did not you? I asked. Not angry, just needing to understand. Because Marcus made it clear what happens to people who cross him, Jake said. And Commander Cole never stopped him. She just kept telling him to handle it quietly. Jake, I said, I need proof. Not just your word. Something real. He looked at Tom, then at me, and finally nodded. I can get you proof, he said. I can record him. He trusts me. He does not think I will ever turn on him. That is dangerous, Tom said. I know, Jake said, but what happened to Daniel was wrong, and I helped make it worse by staying silent. I want to fix that. 3 days later, Jake came back with a small recorder and shaking hands. Tom, Jake, and I sat in Tom's office and played it together. Marcus's voice came through first. You worry too much, Jake. Nobody will ever trace those funds back to me. Cole's husband already took the fall. Case closed. Then Vanessa's voice, quieter, tenser. Marcus, I cannot keep doing this. My review is next week. Just hold on a little longer, Marcus said. Once you get your promotion, none of this will matter. We bury it, we move forward together. I felt something break and steady inside me at the same time. There it was, her voice, agreeing to bury the truth that destroyed my life, just to protect her own future. Tom looked at me carefully. This is it, Daniel, he said. This is everything we needed. I stared at the recorder, sitting quiet on the table now, holding the two voices that had taken everything from me. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I felt something I had not felt in weeks. Control. I decided against going to the press first. Part of me still believed the system deserved one honest chance before I burned everything down. So I called Captain Elena Ruiz, Vanessa's superior, and asked for a private meeting. She agreed to see me the next morning. Her office was calm, orderly, nothing like the chaos my life had become. "Mr. Cole," she said, shaking my hand, "I have heard your name mentioned around the department recently. Not in good ways, unfortunately. That is exactly why I am here," I said, placing Tom's recorder on her desk. "I need you to listen to something." She raised an eyebrow, but pressed play. I watched her face change as Marcus's voice filled the room, then Vanessa's, admitting everything. When it ended, Elena sat back slowly. "Where did you get this?" she asked, her voice tight. "An officer under Commander Cole recorded it," I said. "He witnessed Marcus falsifying budget reports and pressuring my wife to protect him. I lost my job over lies Marcus spread to cover his own theft." Elena rubbed her forehead. "This is serious, Mr. Cole. Extremely serious. If this recording is authentic, we are looking at embezzlement, falsified records, and abuse of power." "It is authentic," I said, "and I want a real investigation. Not a cover-up, not a quiet resignation. The truth." "You will have it," she said. "I am launching an internal investigation immediately. I want a friend to formally submit this recording along with a statement." "He is ready," I said. "So am I." Word moves fast inside a police department, even when people try to keep it quiet. 2 days later, Marcus called me directly, which he had never done before. "Daniel," he said, his voice tight, "we need to talk." "I have nothing to say to you," I said. "Listen to me," he said. "Whatever you think you have, drop it. You do not know what you are dealing with. I can make your life a lot harder than it already is." "You already tried that," I said. "It did not work. I'm not scared of you anymore, Marcus." "You should be," he said. I hung up without another word. My hands were steady, which surprised me. A few weeks ago, that call would have destroyed me. Now it barely touched me. That evening, Vanessa came home early for the first time in months. She looked different, rattled. "Elena called me in today," she said. She would not tell me why, just that there is an internal investigation starting. I did not answer. "Daniel," she said, "do you know anything about this?" I looked at her for a long moment. "I gave Elena a recording," I said. "Yours and Marcus's voices, talking about burying the truth about what he did to me." Her face went pale. "You did what?" she whispered. "I did what you should have done from the beginning," I said. I told the truth. For the first time since this nightmare started, I watched fear settle into my wife's eyes instead of mine, and something inside me finally understood. The ground had shifted, and it was no longer my life falling apart. Internal Affairs took 9 days to confirm what I already knew. Elena called me herself. "Mr. Cole," she said, "the recording is authentic. We verified it through forensic audio analysis and cross-referenced the financial records Marcus was hiding. Everything matches." "What happens now?" I asked. "Marcus Reyes is being arrested this morning," she said. "Embezzlement, falsifying official records, obstruction. As for Commander Cole, she is suspended immediately pending a full review. Given her role in concealing this, I do not see how she keeps her position, let alone gets promoted." I sat with that for a moment. "Thank you, Captain," I said, "for actually listening." "You told the truth," she said. "I just did my job." Marcus's arrest made local news within hours. I watched it happen from my living room, feeling strangely calm as officers led him out of the department in handcuffs, cameras flashing. By that evening, a reporter named Nina Cross had the full story. I never spoke to her directly, but I later learned Elena made sure the details reached her, insisting the public deserved to know how deep the cover-up went. The headline ran the next morning across every local outlet. "Commander covered up deputy's crime to protect her career." My phone would not stop ringing. Mrs. Patterson showed up at my door that afternoon, something she had not done in weeks. "Daniel, I am so sorry," she said. "I heard what really happened. I should not have judged you the way I did." "I appreciate that," I said, and I meant it, even though the sting of her silence during my lowest days had not fully faded. An hour later, Harold called. "Daniel," he said, his voice heavy with something close to shame, "I saw the news. I am sorry. I should have trusted you more. I should have asked harder questions before I let you go." "I do not blame you completely," I said. You believed evidence that was fabricated to look real. I want to make it right, he said. Your position is open. Full back pay for the time you were suspended and terminated. I will personally apologize to the whole team if that is what it takes. I will think about it, I said, and for the first time, that felt like my choice to make, not a decision forced on me by other people's lies. That night I sat with Sophie while she did her homework, and she looked up at me suddenly. Dad, she said, Emma said sorry today. She said her mom told her the truth finally. I'm glad, sweetheart, I said. Sophie smiled, small but real. I always knew you did not do anything wrong, she said. I pulled her into a hug, feeling something in my chest ease for the first time in weeks. The people who shunned me were scrambling now to fix what they broke, but watching them scramble did not feel like victory exactly. It felt like relief, quiet and heavy, the kind that comes after finally putting down something you had been carrying alone for far too long. Vanessa came to the house a week after the review board stripped her of her rank. I opened the door and barely recognized her. No uniform, no confidence, just a tired woman standing on a porch that used to be hers too. Can we talk? She asked. I stepped aside and let her in, mostly for Sophie's sake, who was upstairs and did not need to hear us shouting through walls. I lost everything, Vanessa said, sitting at the kitchen table where I used to leave her cold plates of dinner. My rank, my reputation, the review, all of it. Marcus is facing real charges. I'm facing my own hearing next month. I am sorry that happened to you, I said, and I meant it, even though a part of me wondered if she would have felt sorry for me if the recording never existed. Daniel, she said, her voice breaking, I made a terrible mistake. I chose my career over you, over us, over everything that actually mattered. I know I do not deserve it, but is there any chance we could try again? I looked at her for a long moment, searching for the anger I thought I would feel in this exact scenario. It was not there anymore. Just clarity. Vanessa, I said, I did not lose because of the rumor Marcus spread. I did not lose my job because of a lie. I lost you the day you decided my name mattered less than your title. She flinched like I had hit her. You had 100 chances to stand beside me, I said. One phone call, one public statement, one night where you chose me over your review. You never did. Not once. I was scared, she said. I thought if I protected you publicly, it would cost me everything I built. And instead you protected your career, I said, and it cost you me. Cost you Sophie's trust. Cost you everything anyway. She sat there crying quietly, and for a moment I almost reached for her hand out of old habit. I did not. I am filing for divorce, I said. Not because I want to hurt you. I do not. I am doing it because I finally understand what I am worth. And staying married to someone who chose ambition over me every single time is not something I am willing to keep doing. Daniel, please, she started. I already made up my mind, I said gently. This is not revenge, Vanessa. This is me choosing myself for once. She left that night without another word, and I did not feel triumphant watching her go. I just felt free. Months passed. The divorce finalized quietly. Vanessa moved 2 towns over, working a much smaller position at a department that did not know her name yet. Marcus took a plea deal and lost his badge for good. Harold gave me my old job back, and I even got a promotion of my own eventually, one I actually earned. One morning in early spring, I walked Sophie to school like I did every day now. She held my hand and talked about a school project on volcanoes the whole way there. Dad, she said as we reached the gate, are you happy now? I thought about the question honestly before answering. I am, I said. I really am. She smiled and ran off toward her friends, backpack bouncing, without a single worry about what anyone might be whispering about her father anymore. I stood at that gate a moment longer, watching her disappear into the school building, thinking about everything the past year had taken from me and everything it had somehow given back. I did not need Vanessa to defend my name anymore. I did not need Harold's apology or Mrs. Patterson's forgiveness or anyone else's approval to know who I really was. I turned and walked home slowly, the morning sun warm on my back, and for the first time in a long time, I was not walking away from a fight or running from a betrayal. I was simply walking toward my own life, standing on it, finally entirely on my own.